Are you carrying too many clothes when you go backpacking? Or maybe not enough? Maybe you're just unsure of what you should be packing in terms of clothing? Well, in today's video, I'm going to go over the exact layering system that I use for all of my 3-season backpacking trips and all of the clothes that I bring with me. Hi everyone, I'm Justin and welcome to the channel. Here we talk about all things backpacking, so if that's your kind of thing, please subscribe if you already have not done so. And in today's video, we are talking about how to stay comfortable and how to layer properly when you're in the backcountry. And to be clear, I'm not talking about some extreme mountaineering conditions or high alpine adventures. I'm talking about spring through fall backpacking. Or I do suppose the winter if you're in the Southwest. And I am excited about today's episode because I get to talk about 2 of my favorite pieces of gear. And with that said, let's get into it. So the whole philosophy behind this layering system is having one set of hiking clothes and then layering from there depending on conditions. And one thing you'll notice throughout this video is there is no cotton. There's a saying that's cotton kills, and there is a little bit of truth to that. It might sound a little bit extreme. That's more of a situation you want to be aware of in very, very cold winter conditions. And the reason for that is because cotton does not dry fast. So if you're sweating or if your cotton shirt gets wet, then it is going to be frigid and wet on you, and that can actually cause hypothermia. So you want to be careful when you're wearing cotton in the backcountry. So everything that I wear is either synthetic or merino wool. So what I have here, this is kind of the core of what I wear when I'm backpacking. I always wear a hat when I'm backpacking. You know, that bill offers a little bit of sun protection, and this one is nice and light and breathable. But the main pieces of the clothing are right here. Personally, I like to hike in shorts much more than pants. I just like the mobility and the breathability. It's easy not to overheat when you're hiking, especially uphill, wearing shorts. Personal preference, I completely understand people that prefer to wear pants, but if you've watched this channel for any sort of time, you've probably seen me hiking in shorts. That's why. And this is now one of my favorite pieces of gear. This is the Kettle Mountain No Fry Sun Hoodie. I picked this up about a year ago and I wore it on literally every single backpacking trip I went on in 2025. I actually did a full review on it. I'll leave a link for that right here. And if you want to check this out for yourself, I will leave a link down in the description. Actually, I'll leave a link for everything I talk about in the description if you'd like to check them out yourself. But I love this sun hoodie. I'm not going to go into all the specs on it right now, but I want to say it was about 5 to 6 years ago I switched to sun hoodies instead of the button-up long sleeve shirts that I used to wear, along with the big floppy hat. I just find them a little bit more comfortable, and some of these ones in particular, like this one, is so light and breathable. I love it, but this is my go-to hiking shirt. Whether I'm going out for one night or through hiking the Pacific Crest Trail, one hiking shirt, one set of shorts to hike in, and that's it in terms of hiking clothes. Does it get stinky? Of course it does. And I definitely don't bring deodorant. I just accept that I'm going to be dirty, I'm not going to smell great, but I find when it comes to backpacking layers or backpacking in general, just don't pack redundancies. You're going to smell, just embrace it. And now for arguably one of the most important pieces of backpacking clothing is my Puffy jacket. This is the Enlightened Equipment Torrid Apex. I have had this exact jacket right here since 2021. This has been through the Muir Trail, the Wonderland Trail, the PCT. It finally got a couple little tears in the fabric, but because it's not down, there's no down feathers flying away or anything, so I'm still using this same jacket. It's super lightweight, super warm. It's got one of the best warmth to weight ratios on the market, so I love this thing. This is another one of my favorite pieces of gear. I will say, this is more so of a camp layer. I don't wear this hiking that often. I tend to heat up in it pretty quickly, so unless it's a very cold morning, I usually am not wearing a jacket or I'm wearing another layer that I'll get to shortly. This is for either really cold mornings or when I'm done hiking or on a break and it's chilly outside. That's when I put this on, but I love this thing. Aside from the sun hoodie that I hike in, the only other next to skin layer I really bring, at least for the top half, is this merino wool long sleeve shirt. This is an Icebreaker 200 shirt. It serves as a clean shirt, I guess, when I get to camp. and it's also what I sleep in. So I find this to be really comfortable. It provides extra warmth on those cold nights and those cold mornings, and it's a great option to sleep in. And on those really frigid mornings when I don't want to put the sun hoodie back on because it's so light, I can also hike in this as a hiking shirt. But generally speaking, I don't do that. I really just wear the sun hoodie 99% of the time. And with this shirt, I usually have a pair of merino bottoms with me. These are Smartwool 250s. This is a pretty warm base layer for the bottom half. And kind of like the shirt, I really just wear this when I'm at camp and when I'm sleeping. I usually don't hike in it because kind of like the jacket, I just warm up really quick in this, but I like having a base layer bottom to wear around camp and when I sleep. And then for those cold nights and those cold mornings, I always bring a beanie. This is an outdoor research beanie and a pair of fleece gloves. And these are just some basic fleece gloves from REI. These are nothing fancy. They get the job done and they come with me when I'm 3-season backpacking. And the only other piece of clothing that comes with me on nearly every trip is a rain jacket. Of course, you should probably carry these on almost every trip that you go on, just in case rain kind of comes out of nowhere, because you can do that. But especially hiking around here in Colorado more often, afternoon thunderstorms are pretty common, so having a rain jacket is always a great idea, and it also doubles as a windbreaker. I don't use it that often, but when I do, I'm glad I have it on me. So everything that I just went over is what comes with me on a vast majority of my trips. But I'd say about 50% of the time, if I'm expecting temperatures to be around freezing overnight or just above or just below, I'll bring an extra insulation layer. And in this case, I have this Alpha Direct hoodie. This specifically is a Senchi Design 60. I think that was the model of it. And this is an ultra light Alpha hoodie. And there are a few times throughout the course of a trip that I might wear this. If it's really cold out and I'm just lounging around camp or walking around without working too much, I'll actually layer this underneath my Puffy. So between 2 layers of insulation, this with my Puffy over it, it is nice and toasty. This is also nice to put on over my base layer while I'm sleeping on those frigid nights. Again, just adds some extra warmth. And the following morning, when I'm hiking out, as I've already mentioned, I prefer not to hike in my puffy jacket because I just overheat too quickly. I love to hike in this thing. It is warm, but it breathes so well. So especially if I'm like huffing and puffing up a hill first thing in the morning, something like this is absolutely fantastic to have. Again, this doesn't come on every single trip, but it does come on probably about half of them. Now, as I said toward the beginning of the video, I usually prefer hiking in shorts. Hell, I'll even hike in snow with shorts on, and if you watched any of the PCT videos, you probably saw that. But if I'm not expecting highs to be above like 45 or so degrees and lows in the 20s or something like that, then I might wear a pair of pants. So what I've been wearing recently, hiking in the snow here in Colorado, are these Kettle Mountain Shenanigan pants. They're lightweight, they breathe well, they keep me just warm enough, a little more than shorts, and they're super stretchy. So I'll leave a link for these down in the description. I don't always wear pants, but I have been wearing these in really cold conditions. The only other thing that I'll bring on a very rare occasion, if I'm expecting a lot of rain on a trip, is this rain skirt. This is also from Enlightened Equipment, and I don't wear it that often. I wore it on the Wonderland Trail. I brought it with me on the PCT, but didn't even use it halfway through the trip, so I sent it back. But I am not a fan of rain pants. I think I overheat too easily in them. I find them hard to take on and take off because I gotta take my shoes on and off to get them on. So on that rare occasion I'm expecting a lot of rain, I might bring this rain skirt, but I don't consider this a core piece of layering for me, and usually it's not there, but sometimes I'll bring it just in case. And the very last piece of clothing that I have here today is this Mountain Hardwear fleece. And I only bring this in very rare situations, particularly if it's a cold, really short, casual trip. And if I bring this, I'm not bringing that Senchi Designs Alpha hoodie. I think this is slightly warmer than that. It's easier to take on and off because it has the zipper all the way down, but it weighs a little bit more. So generally speaking, I'm not bringing this. I'm bringing the Alpha Direct hoodie because it's so much lighter and more breathable. The only other pieces of clothing that'll come with me when I'm backpacking are an extra pair of socks and underwear. And on really cold trips, I might bring a pair of thicker sleep socks to keep my feet warm. And on short one-night trips, I'm probably wearing the same pair of socks and the same underwear the whole time. Now this layering system is all a little bit fluid and there's a little bit of nuances. Like if I'm hiking and there's highs in the 80s and lows are in the 60s, I don't bring the base layers and any of the warm stuff. I might bring a puffy jacket just in case, but I don't bring a lot of the other layers. On really cold trips, I might not wear the shorts, I'll wear pants, but I just like having that ability to mix and match depending on conditions. But again, the core system that I use when I'm backpacking is one set of hiking clothes, shorts and a sun hoodie and a hat, socks and underwear, of course. At camp for those cool nights, I'll have a pair of merino leggings and a long sleeve merino shirt, in addition to a beanie and some gloves. My main insulation layer is this Enlightened Equipment Torrid puffy jacket, and then for those really cold trips, I'll add an extra fleece, this Alpha Direct fleece from Cincy Designs, which this is always sold out online, by the way, so if you can happen to snag one of these, you should go for it. And then of course, the rain jacket for rain and a little bit of wind protection. And it does also help trap in some heat on those really cold mornings. So those are all of the layers that I bring when I go backpacking. I try to minimize the redundancies, everything has a purpose, and yes, just hike in one set of clothes, so I just prepare to get a little bit stinky. This system has worked well for me across a huge range of trips and climates, from desert backpacking in Arizona to the entire PCT, and now hiking here in the Rockies in Colorado. But this is just my personal preference on my layering system. Everyone has their own personal favorites, so that's something for you to decide on your own. But again, I have links to everything I talked about here down in the description if you would like a little bit of direction. But that is going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If this was helpful or you enjoyed it, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and until next time, I'll see you out on the trail. Cheers.